And welcome y'all to ZenChaos. I am Dean. Across from me in the virtual world, the virtual screen, that is the homie Zen. What it do, brother?
How you doing, my G?
Listen, I can't call it moving and grooving, doing better than I did yesterday. You know how that thing go. Now listen here, right, player? So we have a little bit of an issue. Got a little bit of an issue.
A little bit.
Now,
Something
earlier
might
people
be brewing. Might be brewing.
What?
Something might be brewing.
World War III is upon us, right? Like it is going fucking down. For people who don't know, like if you're listening to this, and you've probably seen the previous video of me and the homie brother Jay just kind of breaking down like what is happening with the Russian missile hitting Russian missile hitting a Polish farm in Poland on Polish land, killing two Poles. That's what they call them, Poles. They killed two people, right? That we've already had that discussion a little bit, kind of laying out the groundwork, and we will be discussing a little bit here as well. But we're going to get into more of sort of like what are the ramifications of this? What is the actual response? Because NATO has to respond. Because we already know that currently what's happening right now is that our good friends Poland has decided they're going to invoke or enact Article 4. There's going to be a discussion between the United Nations members. And then, the NATO members, and then they are going to then decide basically what they are going to be doing moving forward. Now, will that cause Article 5 to be invoked? And then Article 5 is basically stating that if any member, I'm paraphrasing it, but any, NATO member who has gotten, who their integrity, their sovereignty, and their as well as their security has been threatened, that basically all other members will come to basically defend that. To defend that nation until the threat to that nation has subsided. The only time that has been invoked in full was after the 9/11 attacks that happened in America. So what is the state? And we know Poland fucking hates Russia. They fucking hate Russia. They want these Russian motherfuckers to eat a dick and die slow. And I'm not saying they're wrong for that. I'm not. But what I'm stating is that we know how they fucking feel. We also know those Baltic states that are surrounding them, that used to may have been a part of the USSR, that little bit of a buffer zone. You know what I'm saying? That those weird motherfuckers up in that shit. These motherfuckers have been saying for a moment time that we need to take a more aggressive stance against Russia. This is exactly what Poland and them needs, which makes things a little bit, if they want to rev it up, gives Poland a little bit of a bigger dick when they're walking in there on the UN Council security meetings like,
we got people.
We listen. You motherfuckers don't enact no flies on you. Do this, you'll do that. We'll just invoke Article 5. Fuck it. Well within our rights. Now we're starting to really see what this thing is. But then also too, Zen, before I let you go off, it gets the mind thinking, right? Because one thing I didn't do in the previous episode a little bit earlier, that was the precursor to this, was go into a little bit of a conspiracy theories. Touch on it a little bit.
You started one.
Did I start one? Was it me? Was it me, baby? Or was it the world?
Y'all went down the trail of one. I don't know.
You mean
y'all went down the trail of one.
What was
toward the end?
Oh, you mean the one where this could be an elaborate setup, but the question becomes who is setting it up? Is it coming from motherfuckers goddamn in the Ukraine? Because I've heard before all this whole thing happened with Russia, we weren't supposed to trust them, and that was a corrupt ass nation. So, and it's also a nation that has been yearning to have a stronger presence from NATO in this war because they're getting their shit pushed in, no matter how you want to fucking cut it. Like the reason that Russia was pulling those troops back was because they sent 85 fucking bombs over there, for their time 2 days ago. At this point, they sent those 85 fucking bombs in that region. They didn't want none of their people or assets potentially getting caught up within that mess. And then this is how we got here. But then wouldn't it be smart for our good friend, the Ukrainian president, right? President fuck off. If he decided to say to his national air defense, right? He was like, hey, listen, let's fucking knock one of these bombs over. But, if we deflect it in such a way, it could potentially fly and hit into
exactly what I was thinking as you were saying this. I was like, I wonder if they just diverted it on purpose.
Because guess what? Everybody in NATO has been saying, hey, listen. We're going to defend every single inch of NATO land. Inch, centimeter, everything. And more than that just got fucked up along with 2 lives. So was it Zelensky? Was it President fuck off? Or Was it someone within that Russian camp, right? All this Russian nonsense, all this other Russian bullshit, because those motherfuckers want to get Putin up out of there. So maybe, like, did one of their calculations go array? And then now it's showing the ineptitude and incompetence potentially of Putin, and then it's going to get a full more world pressure to potentially change things, because we know the oligarchs are not really feeling this war. It's fucking up their money. They only care about the money. Fuck all this other shit, right? Or was it one of the other United Nations states? Was it even Poland itself who wanted to potentially maybe set something up? Maybe, talk to Zelensky and them in the Ukraine and say, hey, listen, deflect that bitch. Hit it over here. Was it that kind of setup, right? Or here's something we didn't think about. Was it a Chinese influence? Who fucking knows, right? And I know people are going to be like, what are you talking about the Chinese influence for? Hey, listen, the bigger that this issue becomes over here in Russia, now they don't want a world war, but the bigger that issue becomes over there, basically in Europe, that means that there are no eyes over there when they decide to go ahead and take motherfucking Taiwan, because China has said that, guess what? We will return Taiwan to the motherland. And China is absolutely preparing for war. We'll get to that in a second. But it could be a multitude of things that happen, or it could legitimately be a fucking, as Brother Jay said in the episode before, bombs do weird shit. Yep. He said it, and I know they mentioned it last time, but people who don't know, Brother Jay is an ex-military member. He's ex-army soldier, and he has done a tour in Iraq, and he's whatever. I'm not going to get into it, but hey,
things go wrong, like malfunctions do happen. So in that sense, it could legit have been a malfunction, dropped off, like supposed to go here, hit a bird, knocked it over here. Now it dropped way overkill, and this is why I think this is part of why I think like we haven't seen such a quick response from the UN, because maybe they are going in and like, yo, let's talk about this first, because if we put this out wrong, like this could go bad, and we're not trying to go down that path. We ain't trying to go to war. No. Poland ain't ready for it. We ain't trying to do that.
It's not that they don't want to go to war, so they just don't want to go to war with a superpower. Right, trust me, America, like motherfuckers is certain nations and shit understand, especially when you look at the global economy right now, right? So we understand that fucking war would be terrible, but also would be great for business.
Yeah, it makes money.
It would be. It makes a lot of money. It helped us get out the Great Depression, did it not?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then the world, look at what's happening with the world right now, and then you have China. Spearheaded by China, but then Russia's obviously going to be part of it. They're creating this whole other alliance. It's called the BRICS, shit like that. Like it's basically they're going to try to make a whole nother like economy essentially, right? They're to challenge this Western one. That's effectively what is coming down to the nuts and bolts of it, because they want to be able to tone down this Western influence on whatever the fuck they're doing. Man, listen. With all this going on, like it's just not looking good, because while we don't want war, there's a lot of nations who could want war
because it'll help them.
Yup. And then those Baltic states, right? Wouldn't it security reasons they would want to go to war, because they would want to be able to beat down Russia a little bit more, so that way that he can't try to expand past the Ukraine, because there's nothing saying that he won't expand past the Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, those nations are NATO members, but what's that mean to Putin?
You finish on Ukraine, you might just say, yeah, whatever, we'll do it anyway.
Right? Or was this Putin fucking sending them the rocket to basically let motherfuckers know that, yo, listen, you motherfuckers blew up that fucking our pipeline shit. We know you fuckers did it. We told you motherfuckers to leave us, to stay out of this shit. Now I'm doing this until you to eat it. Yeah. Eat a dick, nigga, and die, so I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could be his mentality as well. We just don't know. There needs to be an appropriate response, but what is the appropriate response? Because you have to, you got to do something. And I think they're going to be sitting there saying that, like, hey, we've been saying that if they do anything, we were going to have a response. And now, no matter how you want to cut it, the reason why, they're calling our bluff.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's going to end up happening. They're not going to do anything to respond. They're going to say, oh, this was a it was an accident and a genuine accident.
No, they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
No.
The deflection element, I think, could be legit.
What deflection element?
Where Ukraine deflected it. Didn't care where it landed. They're just like, it won't land here.
See, I think the deflection came and they knew where it would get deflected. Because look at that border.
Or yes, it would make more sense to say, let's deflect it there so that everybody gets pissed.
That's what I would do if I was a.
And like you mentioned, you said you're going to help if they do anything. Look, they did something. Something happened.
I 100%.
We didn't do it. We didn't bomb them. Go look at the shards. That's not our bomb.
Not ours. That's their shit. That's their shit. Yeah. That's their shit. We didn't do nothing.
We didn't pick it up and throw it in. It's yours.
This is weird, man. This is weird. This is the thing is, though, and the reason why I'm not really fucking jacking this whole World War III is because it's mostly going to be our fucking men and women out there. The rest of these fucking nations in the UN are fucking pussy for the most part. Like, they're fucking pussy. Like, I get it, motherfuckers be like, oh, what about France, fucking Great Britain?
Yeah, no, they're going to sit back and let us
bro.
Care of everything.
They're fucking, they're ass, bro. They're ass. Like, first of all, I believe it was Britain, they've been fucking downsizing their fucking military lately.
Because they're not worried.
100.
Like
no one's been taking their security as serious as they should have been. That's why 100%, and that's why when the whole thing with Ukraine happened, Europe was like, "Oh, we got to start stepping up our own security for our own sake." No one's gonna save us, type shit. Like the United States can only do but so much. We gotta be able to protect ourselves half fucking way. Like, listen, it'll be great if we get Sweden and Finland. It's the Swedes and Finland that they're trying to get to NATO, right? Because the Swedish military is some bad motherfuckers. Like they did some war games type shit, and I guess our Marines landed a helicopter right in Swedish territory where we were doing like the war games at, like their enemy. Bro, these niggas landed right next to their bunker and they killed the whole fucking crew. The whole crew. And then I remember reading the article, they were like, listen, no one's ever gonna talk about it, but the fucking Swedes were able to fucking beat a United States Marine Corps regiment. That's fucking, hey. No matter how you want to cut it, that's still like, got to tip our hats off to them. Could they do anything against our full might? Absolutely not. But we got to respect their might being added to ours. That adds some things. So there are some of those nations who can do stuff, but then for the most part, they're fucking pussy. So I'm really not trying to get to this whole World War III kind of thing where it's United States kind of forefront in this because, we love ourselves some good old war.
Mm-hmm.
But there does need to be an appropriate response. Like, I have a question because I saw something online on Twitter. Somebody said, what if niggas just flickered the lights over there in Moscow?
What do you mean?
Hacked into their grid and just turned it off for 2 minutes and then turned it back on. The whole fucking nation.
We probably can.
No, we absolutely can. 100%. 100%. Will we? But would that be an appropriate response? Because then those are, at the end of the day, there's two people who got killed. And I know people are going to say it's like, oh, what we're going to do, go to war for just one person? That's how World War I started. So it can very much happen. But then what happens for those two lives? Like, most motherfuckers prescribe to the whole eye for an eye. Like, what happens?
That, I think, would lead down that slippery slope.
But it would be in Poland's right. Like, for instance,
are you gonna play that like a back and forth game where if they aim for 2 but get 3, now it's like, well, now we got to balance it out.
No, I think the issue is that right? We underestimate how much these Baltic states hate fucking Russia, and they hate anybody like aligned with these motherfuckers because they're a threat to their sovereignty. You know what I mean? Like, it will behoove them not to go. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of like, oh, this is the reason that we want it. We want to be able to finally kind of declaw this motherfucker a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, what happens? But then obviously no one wants the nuclear powers duking it out,
right?
Because
it's it's
it's over. Well, listen, you already know the United States rule when it comes to nukes. We don't just send
before. You don't send one, you send them all.
Send them all. Fuck it. Whatever. Fuck it. Because we got to send one, we got to kill everybody, right? So fuck it. And then what will other people do in response? Like, if we send nukes, what fucking France is going to send them? Fucking Great Britain. Everybody going to start sending nukes. And it's going to be fucking 30 minutes. The world, we will fucking, I think there was a quote. think I saw a quote that basically said, somebody asked Einstein, and it could be completely fake quote. It was on the internet, right? So I can go fuck off. But somebody asked Einstein, it was like, hey, what do you think what weapons are going to be used in World War III? He was like, I don't know what weapons are going to be used in World War III. But I think he said that either World War IV or World War V, we will be fighting with sticks and stones.
I think I remember reading this somewhere. Something along those lines, which would imply A, a survival, and B,
well, yeah, not everybody's gonna die if there was like that shit got crazy like that. Like there would undoubtedly be some people who survive. They just depend on where we're at, what's going on. What people have, like what kind of equipment, and like if you're gonna be doing any prepping. I know that I've talked to Justin. We're gonna start doing some serious prepping more than what we have been. I'm definitely gonna go step some shit up. And I'll tell people themselves, okay, listen, get yourself a fucking gun. Get yourself well acquainted with that shit. Get yourself some MREs. Get yourself a travel kit. Make sure you got some shit that you can start a fire with, that you can filter water with. You need to make sure that you have certain things that if you need to move, you can move with. And then you'll be able to, and so that you can also amass resources for you and your family and your loved ones and friends during this time. And then also too, if shit goes crazy and we need to join up with any kind of militias or like join up with the military, because we're like fighting potential domestic threats that are coming internationally. Because it leads me to this point, Zen. This is why I don't want America stepping up into this World War III shit, right? So the first reason, right now against Russia, there has just been a report, and let me go ahead and try to pull up this report, but that there has been Russian equipment, right? But a Russian equipment installed in American military equipment, right? So we have Russian technology that has been installed into our American military equipment, and no one knew that it was Russian
equipment.
Yeah, or like a Russian like piece within our shit, right? So we're compromised there, right? We've also know that fucking China, what China has done within America, that is fucking really killing me, is that so back in the day, going as far back as maybe the 80s or the 70s, they were basically going to the radio station, shit like that, the small town radios that only have a few channels, can only reach maybe 4 or 5 towns or whatever. They're like, yo, listen, yo, Zen, baby, listen, you sitting over here, you're running this whole fucking thing. You need some, you know what I mean? You want to make your satellite powerful, right? You want to be able to get a little bit more range, right? You know what I mean? You want to upgrade it? Yo, I'll do it for basically free. You just sign here, and we'll just install the shit. We just want to basically be able to say that we got X amount of people around and show people that it's working, that we'll be able to do whatever. But we're gonna get you in on this granddaddy price. You go with that, right, Zen? You want to do that?
Of course.
All right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. So they and then what is happening is that fucking China, those radios, those cell towers that they were fucking going ahead and installing and assisting on, was those cell towers that were fucking crucial to our military infrastructure. So who knows what these motherfuckers know, how deep embedded into the shit are some of those network lines for our nuclear codes. What the fuck is everything, right? It's because just a fight between superpowers is just not going to be a hot fight. It is then going to turn digital. It is then going to turn fucking
especially now.
Oh, 100%. We're going to be fucking attacking grids and shit. It's going to get bad, because trust me, while they could do shit to us, we are not just sitting around. We've been able to fuck them up too. And then we know there's a coalition of them. This is not good. And what's pissing me off is that there's just, when I look online, if I go on the Twitter machine, right, I'm seeing a whole bunch of people talking about a whole bunch of bullshit that no one gives a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about sports right now. I don't give a fuck about culture. None of that shit. World War III is on the precipice of it. And everybody thinks it's just a fucking game. Oh, nothing's going to happen. You fucking assholes. You fucking idiots.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard as a regular when you're used to hearing oh, we're on the brink of this, and then nothing ever happens.
Are we really, though? As Americans, are we really? We don't really ever hear we're on the brink of wars or shit like a war of this magnitude. Usually it's not putting our foot up somebody's ass.
Not necessarily, but at the same time, I really can't speak going back to when I was younger because I didn't pay attention. But I feel like they were they do it all the time where it's like you're always worried somebody's pressing someone somewhere and on the brink of causing everyone to go to war. So it's like how deep do you then get yourself sucked into worrying?
Well, it's not
For
really
most
about.
people, it's like, yeah, if I have to go, I gotta go. They come over here, we got it.
Is it worrying? Or is it more so just kind of like protecting yourself and kind of getting ready? Because listen, this shit is about to. Before
I
it
think
was
it's
always like,
better to
oh,
stay informed on it, to not be completely clueless. That way, if like it does get to like, yo, it really is about to pop off, you're not like, what do you mean? What's going on?
every person
Like,
I've texted,
I still worry about my fantasy.
everybody, fuck you and your fantasy. I have everybody I have text, right, or told about this was super duper shocked. Like when you hit me up, it caught me flat footed. Like I was just coming up off of a nap. I was fucking just up watching the Pat McAfee show, so I wasn't into any. I didn't have any kind of news or anything open. You told me, I'm like, holy shit. So then I start getting into this shit, and then you go on the Twitter machine, and it's just hilarious. Like, yeah, you got to go. If you go on the trending topics, yeah, people are talking about it. But I was just so disappointed that when I was looking at my own followers like that, I was like, more motherfuckers aren't.
Yeah,
Y'all not
you're
worried
probably
about
not going
World
to
War
see
Three?
it. Yeah, I feel like,
Like, you're
you're not going to see that. Even
you know what I'm
like
saying?
where I heard it was it's a dude that I listened to where most of his stuff's about most of his posts are religion related. So he's
Right.
doing a review of a video, and then somebody in his comment section threw it up mentioned it, and he read it off. He's like, "Oh, it's fucking crazy." He's like, "Putin's over here trying to like." It's just like there's the quick mention. I was like, "Boom, Dean, yo."
This,
It's like, "Yo, did you hear this?" Because I'm like, it's a random saying it, and the point it had nothing to do with the convo. So I'm like, "You're not making this up, then." And dude looked it up right there on screen. He's like, "Oh shit, they really did." He's like, Polish town gets hit, 2 people killed. I was like, all right, so this happened. Here you go.
But then even like if you look at like media, they're not. I would be expecting more people to be losing their fucking minds right now because this is. It's like, yo,
there was a dry
niggas been writing checks. Joe Biden, NATO has been writing fucking checks, just writing them, saying, yo, listen, if you do this, we'll do this. Russia, if you do this, we will do this. Russia, if you even think about it, we will do this. If you do anything to any NATO nation, they've written millions of fucking checks. Well, guess what? Putin said, bitch, I'm here to cash in on them. Doesn't matter if it was on purpose. Doesn't matter if it was a mistake. That motherfucker decided to cash in on them shits. So the question becomes, this turn into an IOU, or are we going to go ahead and say we're going to give you everything you asked for, or everything we said we would? But then once again, no one wants World War III. But guess what? You can't look like a pussy.
Right. You can't have your bluff called, like or nobody's going to believe you.
100%. So something's got to go. And not for nothing, you got to violate these niggas now. You do whatever it is, you got to violate them. Appropriate response, but the appropriate
violation.
I say an appropriate violation. It's got to be a violation.
Yeah. You can do an appropriate violation.
Somehow, don't know what that is.
Nope.
Doesn't
they can figure it out though?
Yeah. Listen, we have enough fucking we have enough physical assets. We have enough human assets over there in all these nations too. All these NATO nations are fucking got some black side, undercover Blackwater officers kind of type shit, whatever going on under there, right? So the response can definitely come. The question becomes like, what is it? Right. And then something else too, like not for nothing, like there's been reports basically stating that like, hey, all these generals that have been getting killed and shit like that in this whole Ukraine-Russia war is just because of the United States intelligence. So if we've been allegedly setting up these niggas because they got their generals and shit out there on the front lines, like what are we like? We can do it, but the thing is, what y'all gonna do? And then you have to be able to stand on it for the people. Like, hey, y'all saw that? Yeah, we did that. What happens? What happens?
Whatever they do, it better not be, yo, let's send some American troops over there and hang out on the border. That better not be it.
I think that gets volunteered. I think that Biden will be like, oh, we're gonna go
offer to send over 50,000 troops.
Just go over there to buffer it and shit like that. And now it answers everybody's question on, well, why did we pull out of Afghanistan so fast? It doesn't make any sense.
Just to send them somewhere else.
What is going on? It's like you said, to send them somewhere else. Everybody needs to start looking around and piece together everything that is going on. This shit is not a game. It is not funny. And it is going to get fucking nasty. And then something else, too, that we need to realize as well. Putin don't give a fuck. And Putin is old. So, like, why wouldn't Putin just say, I lived a good life. I don't give a fuck about no one else.
The girl with a bang.
Oh, shit. Anybody who remembers me, like, my story will go on long enough to be like, oh, this is why this happened. Putin got crazy. It'll be written in history books. It'll be fucking infamous for years, and he won't even be around for it. He won't even care. Or maybe he will, because they definitely he's got bunkers and shit like that. They got like planes and shit to be able to survive like a nuclear fucking catastrophe type shit. But listen, anything you want to add to this thing?
I'm interested to see what happens. I will be following to see when a response comes out. Like, that is one thing I am interested to see. What is the response to this going to be? Was it an accident? Was it a purposeful deflection? Was it a Chinese deflection? Or I would say if it comes out as a Chinese deflection, it will not come out as a Chinese deflection. It will come out as it was deflected in a way that nobody knows how, like that kind of thing.
No one understands.
And I would say China popped in. They sent a little kunai. They threw the kunai out there.
The niggas hit the not kunai. We don't want to disrupt the Japanese people in the anime, but
True.
Niggas sent a little. Fair. Did them niggas go ahead and hack it a little bit, maybe? Like, what's the chances of hacking a missile in the midair? Like you have to think about this, right? People have had to sit back and think, like, hey, how could you do this? How could you do that? And then the Russian technology, the technology that they're using in the Ukraine is not that sophisticated.
Right. They're probably not using anything.
It's not their it's not their A shit. It's like their B plus shit. So like
probably something easy to hack into and just like divert
from anybody, right? Like, this shit is getting weird. Listen, people. We said what it is. It is what it is. We've kind of given you an update. We're going to update you as the shit goes live. We're back. We're fucking back. And there was a hiatus. I had shit going on, such as life, but I probably won't be taking another hiatus like that for a few years. So listen, I am Dean. Across from me in the virtual world, the virtual screen, that is the madman Zen, the yin and the yang. Peace, love, and fucking chicken. And make sure you go out there and protect your family. Go out there and get yourself armed. Become dangerous. Don't start sitting here fucking around twiddling your thumbs, because when the shit goes down, ain't nobody gonna have time for friends. It's gonna be, can you do or can you not do? And if you can't do, motherfuckers cannot have fucking cancer and fat weight fucking sitting over there. So get your shit together or you will get lost. All right, peace, love, and chicken. We out. Shout out to Candace Owens for somehow finding out now that she black and she started on her bullshit because the Republican Party's been fucking shitting on her. Like, hilarious. You fucking fool. Took you long enough.